Hi, it's Gina with another episode of Breakfast with Billionaires, and today's book is Richard Branson. Of course, you've heard of him with Virgin Music, Virgin Records, Virgin Airlines, Virgin Mobile. I wanted to find out how he got started, what catapulted this guy into billionaire status. And I found out that he dropped out of school at 15 years old, that he started a newspaper basically for the students, that age group. And when he was doing this, he realized that the students were willing to give up a hot meal in order to be able to buy records. So he noticed that there was a need for discounted records, which helped him start Virgin Music. So he placed an ad on the back of his paper that was a mail order situation with the records, and that went really well. Well, I'm not sure how much money it made, but it got him started into another business. Well, later down the line, a couple of years later, someone approached him and they had original music and they wanted to listen to it. He really liked the record. At the time, he didn't have any kind of way to produce the record, though. He wasn't a record producer. He was just simply selling the records. So this person was continuing to look for producers. He took like a year of knocking on people's doors and trying to get his record out there. And he came back to Richard like 12 months later and was like, I have had no success. And Richard just saw this demand for this guy, and he basically made a studio and got him signed. And this is the music, the first one that got him started. Okay, the name of that is Tubular Bells, and it actually ended up being a theme song for The Exorcist. And that's pretty much what catapulted him into the stardom, and he was able to sign people like Boy George, Janet Jackson, Paula Abdul, Sex Pistols. I mean, just tons and tons of Phil Collins. I mean, lots of people, mega stars. So that's how he got started. For the book, I wanted to just tell you about the 10 main points here about the book. Here they are. So, first, he was able to always have an uncanny way to be able to find an unmet need, whether it be the airlines or the music. He found an unmet need. He looked for the demand. Two, this man has over 350 businesses. He's not able to be hands-on with every business. He knows that he's got to hire himself out of a job. He is a master delegator. He said that it's very easy for people to get confused, that they think that they're an entrepreneur because they started their own business. But he sees entrepreneurship more as creating new businesses, getting the best people together, and going on to the next new thing. So he has this way of getting just tons of businesses under him. Three, he believes in hands-on learning, and one of the ways that he described this was, if you were to come out to his Necker Island and you were to be on a sailboat and you want to learn how to sail, he would show you how to sail. He would take you out about 300, 400 yards out. Then he would jump off the boat and start swimming back and pretty much tell you, good luck finding your way back. That's how you're going to learn how to sail. It's just go ahead and have a hands-on experience. So that's another thing he's big on. Four, he believes strongly that the leader sets the tone for the rest of the company, and he is a crazy fun guy. This guy is a total blast to hang around. You can't have a bad time when you're around Richard Branson. He realizes that if a bunch of the leaders of a company are hanging out together and sipping their beer in the corner, that nobody's going to have fun at the party. So what he would do is he would be the first one to jump in the pool and grab everybody and just throw them in there with him and get everybody just breaking the ice and start everyone having fun. So he believes in having a lot of fun. I was interested to know that he was working from home. He worked from a houseboat from the beginning, and then later on he's got the island, which he's been on the island for 35 years. So this has always been his primary home. 6, he was able to compete with these big companies like the airlines because he pulled some absolutely outrageous stunts which got him on the front page of the newspapers. So he was able to, and of course in today's social media, you know, it's really what it's all about. It's just starting up from the ground up and not being bothered with the fact that you have no marketing budget, just thinking outside the box to get your name out there. So he always wanted to be on the front page of the newspaper. 7, breaking the rules. He was very glad that he did not go to school for longer than he did because he didn't want to learn the rules. He dropped out at 15 and he pretty much made his own rules. So he was glad that he didn't go through the training process of that. 8, he sees everything as a business. The island that he owns, you can rent that for $65,000 per day. Also, you can rent the sailboats that he has. He's got some major competition-style sailboats. But he said that everything has to pretty much carry its own weight. And he also is going to have a TV show starting up soon about the island. 9, he loves to collaborate, and he's got like these think tank things that happen on his island where he invites all the big wigs to kind of talk about technology and how to solve a lot of problems. He likes to share what he's got, and he likes to mentor. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos over this weekend of just him giving advice to entrepreneurs, especially young ones. So check those out. So he's got mega bucks, billionaire. He wants to solve some of the biggest problems we have. And I noticed on his website that he's discovered, or he's created, the first solar-powered plane. So he's helped with that. And of course, like most billionaires, they're trying to find a way off of the planet. So he has the Virgin Galactic space travel, and he's hoping in 5 years from now he'll have a hotel out there in space. Crazy. So I did want to talk to you too about how he found his island, which I thought was a really good story behind that. But someone had told him that if he were to call a real estate company, that they would give him a little tour around through the helicopter, you know, to check out the islands. And he kind of knew that he really couldn't afford an island because it was just early on in his career. It's like 35 years ago. And he called them up anyways, and he acted like he could afford an island. So they drove him all around. They flew him all around. And they saw 2 islands, and he's like, no, those aren't really big enough for me. And then, well, there's this, and then so the agent said, well, there's one more place I want you to see. They flew even further out to the 74-acre island called Necker Island. And the person that was selling it was asking $3 million. Well, Richard said that he could offer $100,000. And the agent just laughed at him and just basically wanted to throw him, landed the plane and threw him off and said, you know, I'm done with you. You're not a serious kind of buyer here. Well, it turns out no one else offered anything for the island. So 12 months later, the owner calls him up and says, I need you to come up with like 200,000. And he said, well, how about 180? And ended up buying that whole island. There was a little bit of a twist to that because the U.S. Virgin Islands told him that he had only 5 years to get the entire infrastructure to make that island habitable. And I do believe that's really what motivated him to do well, is to get this island set up for his family, and just saw the bigger picture of that. So that was very inspiring real estate tidbit. And I hope that you have time to go and visit YouTube for Necker Island. He has got a whole web page where you can, you know, stay the night or stay the week. It's just like you can bring 30 people on the island. It's $65,000 a day. You can have your wedding there. Really awesome place to go. So hope that you enjoyed the story, and I hope that you continue to hang out with me on the Breakfast with Billionaires, and we'll see what is coming up next. Thanks for joining.